Hello, everyone. This is Jay Dobbins on the Marvel DC Multiverse. We are now at episode 392, and I'll be doing a review on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So, a spoiler alert. If you have not seen Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, I strongly suggest that you do not listen to this episode. You've been warned. So, T'Challa, King of Wakanda, is dying from an illness which his sister, Shuri, believes can be cured by the heart-shaped herb. Shuri attempts to synthetically recreate the herb after it was destroyed by their cousin in the Jaka, but fails to do so before T'Challa succumbs. 1 year later, Wakanda is under pressure from other nations to share their vibranium, with some parties attempting to steal it by force. Queen Ramonda implores Shuri to continue her research on the heart-shaped herb, hoping to create a new Black Panther that will defend Wakanda. But she refuses due to her belief that the Black Panther is a figure of the past. In the Atlantic Ocean, the CIA and U.S. Navy SEALs utilize a vibranium detecting machine to locate a potential vibranium deposit underwater. The expedition is attacked and killed by a group of blue-skinned, water-breathing superhumans led by Namor. I don't know why the heck I'm saying Namor, but Namor. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. With the CIA believing Wakanda to be responsible. Namor confronts Ramona and Shuri, easily bypassing Wakanda's advanced security. Blaming Wakanda for the vibranium race, she gives them an ultimatum. Deliver him, the scientist responsible for the vibranium detecting machine, or he will attack Wakanda. Shuri and Okoye learn from CIA agent Everett Ross that the scientist in question is MIT student Riri Williams, and arrive at the university to confront her. The group is pursued by the FBI and then by Namor's warriors, who defeat Okoye before taking Shuri and Williams under water to meet Namor. Angered by the failure of Okoye to protect Shuri, Ramona strips her of her title as General of the Dora Milaje and seeks out Nakia, who has been living in Haiti since Thanos' attack on Wakanda. Namor shows Shuri his vibranium-rich underwater kingdom of Talokan, which he has protected for centuries from discovery by the world. Bitter at the surface world for enslaving the Maya, Namor proposes an alliance with Wakanda against the rest of the world, but threatens to destroy Wakanda first if they refuse. Nakia helps Shuri and Williams escape. Namor retaliates with an attack against Wakanda, during which Ramona drowns, saving Williams. Namor vows to return in a week with his army, and the citizens of Wakanda relocate to Jabari's mountains for their safety. Meanwhile, Ross is arrested by his ex-wife and CIA director Valentina Allegra de Fontaine for secretly exchanging classified intelligence with the Wakandans. After the funeral of Ramona, Shuri uses a remnant of the herb that gave Namor's people their superhuman abilities to reconstruct the heart-shaped herb and ingest it, gaining superhuman abilities and meeting Njajaka in the ancestral plane, who urges her to seek revenge. Shuri dons a new Black Panther suit and is accepted by other Wakandan tribes as the Black Panther. Despite M'Baku's urges for peace, Shuri is determined to exact vengeance on Namor for Ramonda's death and orders an immediate counterattack on Talokan. Preparing for battle, with Ao assuming the position of general of the Dora Milaje, Shuri bestows the Midnight Angel armor upon Okoye, who in turn recruits Dora Milaje member Anika to join her. Williams creates an Iron Man-esque powered exoskeleton to aid the Wakandans. Using a seafaring vessel, the Wakandans lure Namor and his warriors to the surface as the battle ensues. Shuri traps Namor in a fighter aircraft, intending to dry him out and weaken him. The pair crashes on a desert beach and fight. Shuri gains the upper hand but realizes the similarities between their paths and implores Namor to yield. Offering him a peaceful alliance, Namor accepts and the battle ends. Namor's cousin Namora is upset at Namor's surrender, but Namor reassures her that their new alliance will allow them to conquer the surface world one day. Williams returns to MIT, leaving her suit behind, while Okoye rescues Ross from captivity. Shuri plants more heart-shaped herbs to ensure the future of the Black Panther's mantle. So yeah, Shuri plants more heart-shaped herbs to ensure the future of the Black Panther's mantle. In Shuri's absence, M'Baku steps forward to challenge for the throne. Shuri visits Nakia in Haiti, where she burns her funeral ceremonial robe in accordance with Ramona's wishes, allowing her to finally grieve T'Challa. In a mid-credit scene, Shuri learns that Nakia and T'Challa had a son named Toussaint, who Nakia has been raising in secret far from the pressure of the throne. Toussaint reveals his Wakanda name is T'Challa. Now that, on the other hand, was a bunch of garbage. So, with that being said, now that I, gave you guys a little summary, I'm going to say that I'm very disappointed in this film. And this film gets a 5 out of 10. If it wasn't for the 4 parts that I liked of the movie, it would have gotten way less than that. Trust me. So, I think that the introduction of Riri Williams was unnecessary for this movie. Also, the idea of killing T'Challa, that was a bonehead move. Okay? So I just wanted to put that out there. Also, like I said, they should have recast the character. The film would have been a lot stronger, But no, in Ryan Coogler's mind, if an actor dies, I guess the character dies with them. So, I thought, like I said, the reason why I saw this film, because one, I had to cover it for this podcast and for my YouTube channel. 2, also promised my best friend I was going to take her to see the movie. So, obviously, my like I said, I'm an AMC Stubs member, so my movie ticket was free while hers was not. So, therefore, this movie got some of my money, which I'm pretty pissed off about. But also, I was also curious, and the reason why I was curious because they did all these reshoots. And I'm thinking, like, okay, maybe they recast T'Challa, like a multiverse of T'Challa at least. I was expecting that because before I saw this film, I was thinking, okay, one of the mid credit scenes or after credit scenes, I was thinking it was going to happen in the after credits where T'Challa or say everyone's like the Wakandans are mourning in a throne room, and next thing you know, a flash of light appears, just comes down, and of course, it's Black Panther. It's a Black Panther. It's someone in a Black Panther suit. He unmasks himself, and everybody's like, "Wait a minute, what the heck? Who is it? Like, who is this guy?" And everybody's murmuring, and everybody's like, "Who is this guy?" So then everybody, he takes off his helmet, and of course, they ask, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm T'Challa, King of Wakanda." And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's impossible. T'Challa's dead." Screen goes black. That's what I was expecting. But that was before I saw the San Diego Comic-Con trailer when the throne room got flooded. So, obviously, I was like, oh, that's not going to happen. So then I was thinking, okay, maybe in another post-credit scene, I was thinking, okay, maybe that might be a different post-credit scene where T'Challa, a portal opens, and T'Challa comes out of it. And he's wondering, like, wait a minute, where am I? Or maybe he doesn't say that. Say he gets out of the portal, and then or say someone in a Black Panther suit. Say the portal opens, someone in a Black Panther suit, comes out of the portal, and then he takes his helmet off, and next thing you know, boom, there's a different T'Challa, a different look, multiverse, because this is supposed to be the multiverse saga, but of course, honestly, it was like I was watching. It's like I attended a funeral when I watched this film, and it should not have been 2 hours and 41 minutes long. I was bored out of my doggone skull. Now, the 4 parts of this film I liked were the car chase, the exploration of Talokan when Namor showed her or gave her, when Namor gave her a tour of Talokan. So the exploration of Talokan was one of my all-time favorite. Of course, I did like one of my favorites was the car chase, the exploration of Talokan, the ancestral plane where she met Indijaka. She thought she was going to meet her mother or her brother, but ended up meeting Indijaka, aka Killmonger, which I burst out laughing when I saw that. And of course, what else? Because there was I would say, wait a minute, okay, so it was car chase, exploration Talokan, ancestral plane. Hey, there was a 4th part I liked about that film. I don't know. I was so angry about it. I just forgot all about it. But trying to think, what else? Dang, what else happened in that film? I cannot remember for the life of me. But yeah, it might have been because I know that fight. Because that last fight scene was weak. So just want to let you know about that one there. Dang, what was the 4th part? Maybe it was 3. I don't know. But it was I think it had something to do with oh, okay. I guess it was that fight between Atuma and Okoye. I think that was it. Because that was pretty cool. So, dang. I think that was it. But yeah, like I said, definitely the car chase. Indijaka's meeting in her meeting Indijaka in the spirit, sorry, in the ancestral plane. Um, and of course, the exploration of Tamakan. So yeah, and of course, Atuma and the battle between Atuma and uh, Okoye. So yeah, those were the only four parts that I liked about that film. So, but I felt like they should have done more, because honestly, it looked like it was just laziness. And on top of that, they did all these reshoots. I'm thinking they were going to change the plot at least, but it turns out all the scenes from this movie are pretty much matching the plot leak. So obviously, it's like he didn't really change anything. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. It made me pretty angry, you know. And then on top of that, you know, I'm thinking like, okay, I said that I'm on Facebook. I said that I was disappointed, and I'm getting, you know, roasted. And I'm thinking like, oh, I just simply said, hey, I was disappointed in the film. I would not be watching it a second time, which I probably won't unless I get bored. Um, and I don't trust Ryan Coogler anymore. I no longer trust him. And they should have recast T'Challa. I get roasted on Facebook, and I'm thinking like, wait a minute. If you think that what I said was bad, you should have listened to they should have listened to the YouTubers, the professional YouTubers that have over 100,000 subscribers. They should have listened to them because they have called the film trash, utter garbage, a dumpster fire, terrible, a load of crap, a crock of crap. I mean, you name it. They are roasting this film. They call it a waste of time and doggone money, which I kind of feel like it was. And another thing, too, they wanted to make it, Coogler wanted to make it all about, well, Nate Moore was like, oh, we're going to make it all about the mantle. I'm like, one thing they should have realized that this film is, that they were going to alienate probably pretty much half of the fan base. Because because of course there were a lot of black people in the movie theater, and of course they're going to see this movie no matter what, because it appeals to them. So they pretty much are going to like anything that you put right in front of them, pretty much. So of course you got the black community. I heard Hispanics weren't very happy, and like how did did Namor, basing him off of Aztecian Mayan culture. Which is fine, because now I realize, I know why they did it, because of copyright issues. Just like King Kong, Universal owns King Kong, so Legendary Pictures can only use, Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures can only use the word Kong. So they couldn't use King Kong because Universal has rights to it. And it turns out that Universal still has rights to Namor the Submariner. Turns out. Still do. So they had they had to, make a change. Instead of him being Atlantean, they had to make him, they just made him Talocan. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm not going to be mad at Marvel for that, because obviously there's a reason for that. And the reason is justifiable because they're trying to avoid copyright claims. Because if they end up using, Namor is, Namor the Submariner as, Atlantean. Oh, they're going to use Atlantis. Oh, they're going to, they might end up getting sued. So, which is understandable. And also they had to differentiate from, actually, this Talocan underwater city differentiates from Aquaman's Atlantis because they use the name first. Warner Bros. And DC did. So obviously they beat Marvel to that. So, because, I don't know, these days, a lot of people won't know the difference between Aquaman's Atlantis and, Namor's Atlantis. In their mind, it's like, oh, it's the same thing. I'm like, no, it's a different type of Atlantis. It's the same name, but obviously the cities are different, different kings. And Atlantis is more Greek, anyway. So, and on top of that, that's farther away from Africa. So I guess the closest place to Africa is Central America, I guess. Or Mexico. So, yeah. So I guess they wanted to make it, close to, make it close to Africa. I guess it makes sense in a way. So, because Namor, I don't think Namor is going to come all the way out to Greece just to, for that, for Wakanda. So, but anyway, their reasons for changing the origin story is understandable. So, because at first I was like, oh, they're not true to the comics, But hey, like I said, it's all about rights, Because, like I said, Universal still has distribution rights to Hulk, while Marvel Studios has the production rights to Hulk. So if they make a movie, guess who gets paid? Universal. So obviously, I think Universal still has rights to Namor. Probably both production and distribution. Probably, I don't know, but the only way, like I said, the only way they could use him is by changing the origin story. So instead of Namor the Submariner, it's just Namor, or Hispanics Namor. And and of course, Tenoch Huerta was good. I just wish he should have just gained some muscle, because he didn't look like he was, the body type was not, he looked average as far as body type goes. But yeah, he should have gained more muscle, gotten a little six pack. I'm not saying he should be jacked like Dwayne Johnson, but he should have like at least that I would say maybe Thor type bod, or Captain America's, little, that little body type. He should have been like more built, as I would say, because this Namor was not built. I mean, hell, we have a 64-year-old comic book artist who's done Namor comics. His body, he showed off his body to compare, to show, hey, he's like, this is what Namor should look like. He was showing his backside and everything. And I'm thinking, you telling me that a 60-year-old comic book writer for Namor has is in better shape than Tenoch Huerta? That's kind of weird. That's weird. But anyway, I'd say Namor. I can get used to, Namor's origin story of how they. Yeah, I like how they introduced him, so I can get used to a Hispanic Namor. And then the Talocan, it does have a nice ring to it, since Universal has rights to Namor anyway. So I figure, change it up a bit just so they can use the character. So that's understandable. But yeah, the music was good. I like the music. But yeah, they should have recast T'Challa, because it would have been nice to see T'Challa go up against Namor. And now you got M'Baku, King, which I think he's going to be the villain at some point. I think he's going to be the man ape. So yes, you know, if they're going to do a Black Panther 3, they need to recast T'Challa. And their only option right now is a multiverse character. So since they killed off the Earth 616, so you know we have a different version. You know, so therefore that can work. But they shouldn't. I mean, characters should never have to die with actors. As and another thing too, William Hurt dies. 5 months later, they recast him with Harrison Ford. Now, in everybody else's mind, it's like, oh, that character was a minor role. I'm like, it don't matter. It's a Marvel role. If the actor playing the Marvel character dies, they should recast the character. Period. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, there's nobody that's going to be as good as Chadwick Boseman. I'm like, how do we know? We're in no position to say that. Now, if we get a multiverse of T'Challa, you know, then we can decide, okay, who's better? Because who knows? The actor, if they do recast T'Challa using a multiverse of T'Challa or a different version, who knows? This actor might be just as good as Chadwick Boseman, but we won't know unless they recast. You know, just like Home Alone. You know, with Macaulay Culkin. You know, was it Kevin McAllister? You know, you had him. You know, you had Macaulay Culkin play Kevin McAllister. Then you had another kid that played Kevin McAllister in Home Alone 4. Guess what? Macaulay Culkin is a better Kevin McAllister. But guess what? We're in a position to say that because there were two different actors who played that same role. You know, same thing with James Rhodes. You know, they recast him with Don, you know, like they fired Terrence Howard and replaced him with Don Cheadle. But honestly, you know, I gotten used to Don Cheadle's War Machine, and, you know, James Rhodes. But it would have been nice that if they had kept Terrence Howard. But guess what? You know, people have warmed up to Rhodes. Sorry, I meant to say Don Cheadle, not Rhodes. My bad. I like Terrence Howard too, but to be honest with you, I'm going to put them both at a tie. I'm not going to say that, you know, because who knows? I don't want to receive backlash from Terrence Howard's fans. So, but anyway, I don't know, like the Wakanda I saw in the Black Panther movie, the 2018 one was not like the one I saw in this one. In this one, it's like Wakanda looked like a freaking amusement park. So, got that. Let's see, Riri Williams should never have been introduced, and of course, you know, this movie was pretty much a chick flick, you know. Now, I had no problem with female empowerment, but to kick the man out in order for that to happen, that's asinine, you know, an asinine way of thinking. You know, you can have the men, you know, the men and the women can be equal. You know, it don't have to be female empowerment and just kick the men out. You know, you had more women in this film than men. I mean, that's insane. So yes, Disney has gone woke. You know, and this movie, by the way, this movie has made $58 million with a production budget of $250. Will this movie make $1 billion? I seriously doubt it. Now, it might make $600 million, you know, but will it catch up to Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, which made $900 million worldwide? No. But this movie is not going to make $1 billion like the first Black Panther movie did. And the reason why the first movie made $1 billion is because, one, you had actual black representation. You know, you had a black king from Africa. In the most technological advanced country or city in Africa. Speaking of which, how the heck does a king who was born in the most technological advanced country or city in Africa die of an illness? An unknown illness. You telling me that They can't, like, with the technology they have, they can't even cure a virus. I mean, if you can remove a bullet from someone's spine, you can just as well cure someone of illness. So yes, that was a weak. That was an insult. Like, obviously it's like some of that crap was retconned. Like, you know, they could cure diseases and all types of stuff, but no, they kill him off with a virus. Obviously, and then all of a sudden he doesn't tell nobody about it. That kind of sounds like Chadwick Boseman. He had cancer, but didn't tell nobody about it. So obviously, another thing too, they use death as a plot device to put butts in seats. So that's another thing that pissed me off. And the fact that Ryan Coogler, yes, you, and I'm talking, cannot tell the difference between fiction and reality. You have to separate that. Chadwick Boseman was not the Black Panther. He played the Black Panther. He himself said that the character was bigger than him. That he wanted people to see the character and not him. That if they did not do that, if they did not see the character and only him, then he himself failed as an actor. Now, if I were to ask the black community if he had failed as an actor, they're going to say no. But I'm like, well, did you see the character or did you see him? Because it's more like you saw him instead of the character. Everybody's like, oh, he's the Black Panther. I'm like, no, he played the Black Panther. I mean, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created the character for black representation because they know that after the black community didn't have a black superhero somebody to look up to. They created one. And guess what? He happened to be a black king, an African king. The character was created in 1966. And then 56 years later, they want to kill this character off because of the passing of one man? That's just ridiculous. So yes, there were like a lot of plot holes. I was wondering, like, wait a minute. If she's in an ancestral plane, why is she visiting Killmonger instead of T'Challa? Or T'Chaka at least. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay. Obviously, now one thing I learned about the astral plane now is that you can't pick and choose who you want to see there. Just like in Marvel's What If, when in the multiverse, when Killmonger killed T'Challa and War Machine all at once. And of course he lied his way in. He lied his way he lied his way to the title, to the throne. So when he does that heart-shaped herb, he meets T'Challa instead of Njobu. So obviously, you don't pick and choose who you meet down there, I guess. So, but anyway, also, let's talk about. Oh, before I forget, the Ironheart suit. The Ironheart suit looked like a frickin' action figure you can buy at a frickin' dollar store. And on top of that, what's with the cornrow helmet? Looks like what's her name? Ruth? I think it was Ruth Carter or whatever. I think her last name is Carter. She won an Oscar for Best Costume Design for Black Panther. I don't think she's going to win an Oscar for this one. Because that Ironheart suit was crap. So, and on top of that, let's see. Yeah, I'm just yapping away. Forgive me, guys. And another thing, too. Namor warned Ramona that if one of her people comes down there, he was going to come back to Wakanda and kill her. Guess what? He did exactly that. So, I blame Nakia for Ramona's death. Because she went down there to Talokan, killed one of Namor's people. Shuri tries to save her, tries to save the Talican. But of course, she's Nakia's like, oh, we gotta go. I'm like, oh, so she's like, oh, you know what? I don't want you to save her. I want to start this war. So I don't know. I'm starting to find Nakia annoying, to be honest with you. And it should, like I said, she should have, Storm should have been T'Challa's love interest, not freaking Nakia. But that's Coogler's vision, obviously, which ain't working. Because before I watched this film, man, there were people that were talking crap about it. But of course, the mainstream media is like, oh yeah, let's give this film good reviews. Then, next thing you know, I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm hearing more bad reviews on YouTube than good reviews. I mean, it's unbelievable. But anyway, yeah, that cornrow helmet and that Ironheart suit's still bothering me. And on top of that, Jabbar becomes king. Yeah, I pretty much knew some of this stuff was going to happen after reading the plot leak. But the plot leak is why most people ain't gone to the theater. So there are like a lot of boycotts, and there are a lot of hashtag no T'Challa, no tickets. So they should have recast that character because Black Panther is an important character in Marvel. Let's see. There were kids who were. I'm hearing that kids were crying their eyes out. So yeah, that really upset me because Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore took that away from the kids. Someone that they look up to, and in their minds they're like, of course Nate Moore, especially Nate Moore, he's like, you know what, y'all can look up to this character, force that crap down these kids' throats because they should know. And on top of that, the action figures aren't even selling. And why are the female action figures in the boy section of the black, like the Dora Milaje, the Black Panther Shuris, those action figures. Okoye's action figures. I mean, those action figures are in the boys section. Look like it's been untouched too. And on top of that, they're still selling the T'Challa action figures. Like, what the heck? Why are those selling? And the character's dead. I mean, it's just confusing. Just utter nonsense. So yes, like I said, another YouTuber called Black Panther a piece of, and of course the S word. I don't want to say it on here because it's supposed to be kid friendly. But anyway, trying to think. Oh, another thing too, Kevin Feige. I hope the only way because right now this film is bad, but the only way they can make this right is if they do a T'Challa variant. Because, I mean, we're in a multiverse, so there's no excuse why they shouldn't do a T'Challa variant. That way people know the difference between this T'Challa and another T'Challa. Because everybody's like, oh, it would be weird for you to recast T'Challa. I'm like, you telling me it's hard for y'all to use y'all doggone imagination? Y'all that freaking lazy? I've been using my imagination for years. The whole point of going to the doggone movie is to escape reality. I mean, but no. And another thing too. How come y'all could not wait for, it's like they really had an agenda to push this movie. They was like, okay, T'Challa's dead, so we're going to profit off his death. And this is a perfect opportunity to bring Shuri in as the Black Panther, since that was their plan anyway. When Chadwick Boseman was alive, of course he wasn't having that, so he was pretty pissed off about that. He worked this hard for that role, only for them to just undo it. Undo his work. Talk about this as a tribute, and on top of that, they only showed flashbacks of T'Challa from the previous Black Panther film. So yes, laziness. Talking about this is a tribute. And then on top of that, T'Challa Jr.? Come on, man. Are you serious? That's the way to go. So I don't know. There's like, oh, this is a way to, because obviously a lot of people are like, oh, if they, they did recast T'Challa in some way. Is his son? And I'm like, no, that ain't T'Challa. That's just a different character. That is not a recast. Recast T'Challa. And I'm pretty sure it's still trending. And it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's not going to stop until they recast T'Challa. Do a multiverse character. Since we're in a multiverse anyway. Have it where in one universe, Galactus successfully destroys Earth. Oh, the Watcher interferes and saves him. Because everyone else dies, but he's about to die. Oh, wait a minute. The Watcher opens a portal, or puts him in a portal, and he arrives in Earth 616. It'll make perfect sense. You got multiverse T'Challa. Because think about it. You have 5 people who, you have 5 people who know of the existence of the multiverse. Who know, who are aware of the multiverse. Strange, Wong, Spider-Man, America Chavez, Loki. I mean, come on. I think Shuri's going to be next to discover the multiverse if she runs across the T'Challa variant. And on top of that, you can have 2 Black Panthers. It's been done in the comic books. Shoot. But Ryan Coogler, man, if I were Kevin Feige, I would tell them, hey, we're going to do a multiverse T'Challa and give Nate Moore and Ryan Coogler 2 options. Either they can play ball or step down. Knowing them, they might step down. But that's good. Because I don't want Ryan Coogler directing the film anyway, and I really don't want Nate Moore a part of this anyway. Because obviously, they're destroying the MCU. And if this movie doesn't make $1 billion, both of them lose their jobs. So that's just me. So yeah, hashtag recast T'Challa. And, will I see this movie again? Most likely no. But, I mean, come on, they could have done better. Oh, and another thing too. Kevin Feige told an interviewer from Empire Magazine that they felt it was much too soon. If that was the case, why couldn't you have waited? Because if it was too soon to recast T'Challa, then it was too soon to do the sequel. They could have waited another year or 2 to mourn. And on top of that, it don't take no 2 years to mourn somebody. Obviously, what's done is done, but the movie's done. They did a tribute. Now recast T'Challa. Move the freck on, Coogler. You and your feelings, man. You gotta separate reality from fiction, dude. That doesn't always work. Now you pissed off half of the doggone fan base, which is the comic book fans. The true Black Panther fans. You thinking that everybody's gonna watch this film. No, it's not really the case. And obviously this movie is not the kind of movie you watch a second time. Now when it comes to these black folks, African American women, of course, it's all about, female empowerment, stuff like that. But that doesn't always work. And your agenda is not working. It's alienating the fan base, the comic book fans. Those are the ones you need in order for this movie to make $1 billion. Alienating them is not the answer. But, hey man, it's your funeral, dude. Well, I wouldn't say your funeral, but, it's your movie, it's your dollar. Whatever happens, happens. But like I said, I guarantee you, when the crap hits the fan, Kevin Feige ain't standing next to you. Or more. Y'all on your own. So, but Kevin Feige gave the true Black Panther fans hope when he said, we felt like it was much too soon. I guess that means that sooner or later they might recast him later on. Maybe before Secret Wars or after Secret Wars. Sorry, after Avengers Secret Wars. So we don't know. But Coogler, you dropped the ball, man. You shot yourself in the foot. And now you're paying the price. So enjoy it, man. Wasn't worth it at all. But I think you should just leave the Black Panther franchise to the Russo brothers. They did a better job with T'Challa than you ever did with your movie. And I want to clear a few things up. Like, for example, the 4 parts I liked about the movie. So, the first part of the movie I liked was the car chase. The second one, the exploration of Talokan. The third one, Killmonger in the ancestral plane. And the flashbacks of Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa from the previous Black Panther film. So I want to get that out of the way. And there were several parts about the film that bothered me. So, like, for example, how do you survive a vibranium spear through you? I mean, Namor pretty much killed her. And there's no blood. So she must obviously she got some good nanites or whatever in her suit. Because Namor impaled her with a vibranium spear. There's no way. It went right through her too. What the heck? How do you survive that? I guess now generate with that doggone suit. Obviously. And how are you going to kill off Queen Ramona? Like like they did. Having her float, in the water, face down. Man, that's just, oh my God. Make you want to slap the writers. And, like at the beginning of the movie, why didn't Shuri cryo-freeze T'Challa? Put him in cryo sleep like they did, like the other scientists had done with Winter Soldier. But oh yeah, that's right. The goal was to kill them all. So obviously, cryo freezing or putting T'Challa in the cryo sleep, well, I guess wasn't part of the plan. Obviously. Oh, and also, they could have had T'Challa die by fighting Galactus. That would have been a better way of killing him off, if that was the case. There was no explanation of the virus. Or, what was it? For all we know, it could have been anthrax. I mean, come on. Then, and let's not forget their Wakandan battleship with no weapons of any kind. I mean, come on. You guys, you're fighting underwater people. Well, I mean, why would you not have that, knowing full well they can sink it? I mean, and how does Shuri learn how to fight so quickly? I mean, she never trained for the mantle. I mean, she has no experience in hand-to-hand combat. Oh, and another thing. Where the heck were the Avengers? Or the remaining ones? Not a single one showed up at T'Challa's funeral. Not even Winter Soldier. And T'Challa cured him and even gave him a new arm. But he couldn't show up at the funeral to pay his respects? Or the Avengers? The ones that are still alive? The four remaining Avengers? Because, Iron Man's dead. Black Widow's dead. But no, Bruce Banner didn't show up. Oh, Thor didn't show up. Not even Hawkeye. So, yeah, Thor, Hulk, Hawkeye, Captain America. Well, Captain America's dead though, but that's what I heard. But I mean, not even Bucky, not even Ant-Man. I mean, like none of the Avengers. Do they even know of his death? I mean, it's not. I guess they just disconnected it from previous Marvel films, I guess. Focus it all on Black, just focus on the Black Panther movie. No Easter eggs that involve the Avengers films, and not a single cameo from any of the Avengers. Not even Rhodey, Nick Fury. I mean, nobody showed up. It was just unbelievable. It was just the Wakandans paying their respects. Not the superheroes, the Avengers, like the Avengers, Captain Marvel, the remaining agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., none of them. None. I mean, it's just unfreaking believable. But hey, it is what it is, I guess. So, well, I guess that's it. But anyway, that concludes this review. Feel free to visit us and like us on Facebook. We're available on iTunes, Google Play Music app, Spotify, and of course, YouTube.